So what exactly is next following on from the events of Vanguard Zombies? Well, the ending of Vanguard Zombies has been regarded by some as unsatisfactory, as it leaves many questions without a set-in-stone conclusion or connection to Cold War zombies, but given what we know from Black Ops Cold War, we can make somewhat of an educated guess as to what occurs from here. Firstly, the Dark Ether entities, now back in the Dark Ether, likely leave the Special Forces team and go back to their lives in that realm. Due to the power vacuum left by Cortifex, it's entirely possible that they devolve into fighting amongst themselves, but regardless, they are all consumed by the onset of Zykov. Zykov himself is likely the next Archon following Cortifex, this explaining the looming question in Cold War of just how did Cortifex get so much power so quickly. Zykov even noted of stumbling along a giant deceased Elder God in the Dark Ether that looked as if it had been in battle, that of which could have been the remnants of Cortifex that he went on to consume. He also made note of giant futuristic mechanical-like devices in the Dark Ether, and I wonder if he may have seen the construct, since it does have a futuristic looking aesthetic. After all, it almost lives outside of time. In addition, there's the possibility that the Societe Occult go on to make up the uber-rich elite members financing Project Janus that Eddie Richtofen was putting in motion throughout the events of Cold War Zombies for his own currently unknown agenda. And since Requiem archives seem to have tons of information and artifacts from the Vanguard Zombie story, could Eddie be in possession of the Tome of Rituals? Only time will tell. Another loose end is Mr. Peaks. Given his appearance in Vanguard Zombies, it suggests he may in fact be the child of Cortifex and Syraxis, and the cruelty that Cortifex enacted on the child was actually the act of transforming him into the form of Mr. Peaks. Given Cortifex can morph the physical forms of other entities, such as the Decimator, it is entirely possible here too. And I've already speculated about the significance and possible tie-in to Eddie Richtofen's child in prior videos. It is worth noting that the Zealot Spragmos prophesizes that the Old Ones will return post the ending of Cold War Zombies. With the Forsaken captured in the containment chamber, it seems to have freed the Old Ones he consumed. The construct could also play a major role next game too, with the potential for a new Archon. Maybe that could end up being Samantha Maxis, who is now trapped in the Dark Ether, or even a goal for Eddie Richtofen and his Project Janus. Only time will tell. However, the construct does seem to do more than just electing Archons and determines the fate of the Dark Ether, so it could play a role in the future story in another fashion. Finally, we have Gabriel Kraft, who is still very much alive by the end of Vanguard Zombies. It is unlikely he survives until the 1980s, given the fact that he would likely be the first person Requiem would want to hire, but it's entirely possible that he influences the story we see in Cold War in a more indirect way. As we saw in Cold War, his notes are still present in the Requiem archives, so that relationship is likely something we will learn about in the sequel to Black Ops Cold War. Where Vanguard ends, the latter half of D Machine's intel picks up. It seems that the failure of Devar Height's Operation Revenant and the loss of Normandy contributed to the renewed interest from Hitler himself in Project Endstation and the eventual development of Operation Boulderer.